Dear all, my name is Veselinovič and I would like to welcome you in behalf of Slovenska gospodarska zveza v celoti, Slovenske wirtschaftsverband. We are very happy that you're today here. We have people online as well as offline. As a matter of fact, we have much more people online. So hi to everybody online. We here in the room have to take some precautions. That's why we are wearing our masks. While we are speaking, we don't need to wear masks. While we are talking and chatting with each other, we need to wear masks. So thank you, but safety first. After the presentation, we will have time for questions and discussion. And also everybody joining us online, you have the possibility to place a question in the chat box, or there is a segment Q&A. Simply just type in the question and we will read it out loud, and our guests will answer them as soon as possible. Now I would like to pass the microphone to our guest today, Dr. Draško Veselinovič. He's the president of the management board of the Slovenian Business Research Association with the headquarters in Brussels. We are very looking forward to your presentation because we are all looking to the future. What are our possibilities? And that's why EU fundings are one of the hot topics at the moment. So thank you, and Mr. Felix Wiesel would like to say a word or two to our guests, our Vice President of the Slovenska gospodarska zveza v celoti.
Dragi Draško, Boga, naše predvide so take, da so vedno večjezične. Lepo vas vse pozdravljam, da ste prišli. Draško nam bo predaval v angleščini, on bo sam povedal nekaj o sebi, to je njegova pot, ko je bil na borzi predsednik in tako dalje in tako dalje. Vprašanje lahko postavljate v angleščini, slovenščini ali tudi v nemščini. Se pravi, Slovenska gospodarska zveza je prav v času, ko je udarila korona kriza, postala še bolj aktivna. Ker najhujše je, kada pride kriza, da se podjetje, posameznik nekam stisne v en kot, pa čaka, da bo boljš, nič ne bo boljš. Situacija je taka, kakršna je bo pa drugačna. In v tem smislu smo imeli sedaj vrsto prireditev, kjer smo se povezali tudi z mladimi ustvarjalci po svetu, ki so šli iz Slovenije, iz Avstrije in so uspešni. Včeraj smo imeli predavanje ene mlade gospe, ki dela pri McKinseyju, ki je govorila o poklicih prihodnosti. To je za mlade perfektna informacija, kako se ta čas razvija in poklici bojo drugi, so že drugi in bojo še drugačni. V tem smislu bi vas še enkrat pozdravil. Ich möchte auch in Deutsch alle Anwesenden begrüßen. Herr Dr. Veselinovič wird sich endlich allein vorstellen, das wird das Beste sein. Sie wissen, dass der Slowenische Wirtschaftsverband in diesem Alpen-Adria-Raum sehr aktiv ist und wir versuchen halt das, was vielleicht ab und zu in unseren Regionen zu wenig vorhanden ist, sozusagen Connection, verbinden, Leute zusammenführen und vor allem auch in die Zukunft zu schauen. In die Zukunft zu schauen, wie schauen die Berufe für die jungen Leute in den nächsten Jahrzehnten aus, was können wir mit Hilfe von Leuten, die den europäischen Raum gut beherrschen, finanzieren, was können wir auch mit Mitarbeitern, Bekannten, die in wichtigen Institutionen in Graz oder in Ljubljana oder in Wien oder in Klagenfurt, Villach, Triest, Reka in Kroatien sitzen. Das ist unsere Aufgabe und wir werden hier auch weiterarbeiten. Und Sie können sich immer mit diesen Themen an uns wenden, an unser Büro. In dem Sinne hoffe ich, dass heute eine gelungene Veranstaltung stattfinden wird. In Bredain besedet der Draško.
Ja, hvala Felix. Thank you, Felix. Danke, Felix. Dear friends, it's great to be here. So I'm supposed to speak in English, right? Which is a little bit strange for me. I mean, here in Celovec, it's a lot of Slovenian friends here, but okay. We have also some colleagues online, right? I think I can put my mask off now in order that everything could be more transparent, so to say. Yes, I will present a little bit what our organization in Brussels does. So we mainly really focus on EU funding. There are a lot of possibilities really how to get EU funding. Sometimes I used to say that it's a big jungle of all kinds of instruments to be used, and sometimes it's really quite difficult to get through all these instruments and through this jungle. So first, I little bit introduced our organization, what we do, but through that you will see what kind of possibilities do we have in Brussels, and then in the second part of my presentation, I will go through some, I would say, topics now which are really very acute, which are very current, and which are a lot, which are going to be, which are already within our hands, so to say, and to use them. So a lot of possibilities already coming up in autumn this year, but even more so with new EU budget. We all expect that Germany will take over, which already took over presidency of European Union, will also, get the European budget through the Parliament and through the Council, which is more difficult way to do. So Council we expect to adopt. Well, Germany even says, the Chancellor Merkel, she said just recently that she expects EU budget to go through the Council already in July. So this is this month. So let's see if that might be true. But nevertheless, we expect Germany to get it through by the end of the year. And then, of course, new budget, European budget starts with 21. And it's 7 years budget. This is the specialty of European Union. So it's the budget from 21 to 27. So it's a long period, and actually it touches 2 European Commissions, So it's quite a unique situation, but it's very important. Without budget, we cannot talk about this funding and everything, all these instruments and so on. And even now, when everything is prepared with new instruments, I mean, we are explaining them, and there are some pilots going on already. We cannot make sure that this will be also in future until the budget really goes through. First the Council, which is more difficult way, and then the Parliament. Okay, Felix said I should say a few words about me in the beginning. Maybe I put myself the most on the map when I started Ljubljana Stock Exchange in 1989. I was long-time director of Ljubljana Stock Exchange for 15 years. After that, I was leading Deželna Banka Slovenia. It's a medium-sized Slovenian bank, commercial bank. One of the rare banks in Slovenia, which is still in Slovenian ownership, so to say, right now. After that, I spent a short time with Nova Ljubljanska Banka. And after that, I was CEO of the KD Group with all their financial institutions, 50 of them all over the Europe, actually. Then I was for 2 years GEA College Director and Professor, and now I have been doing this job in Brussels for 5 years. So for 5 years, I've been in EU funding. This is the bulk of the business we do. Okay, let's go now concretely through our presentation. So very briefly, SBRA stands for Slovenian Business and Research Association. It's non-profit international association according to Belgian legislation. What gives us a lot of opportunities how to handle this business in Brussels and wider. So we have 5 employees, and the management board meets 4 or 6 times a year, while the council and general assembly convene once a year. So we have this structure. So the board, I'm president of the board. Then we have council, where we, sometimes check up some decisions and so on. And of course, general assembly, like usually. We mostly do business with Slovenian partners, mostly. Like I put it here, 80%. However, not only with Slovenian entities, all kinds of them. We cooperate with ministries, SMEs, startups, even startups. They don't have any money to pay us. But if we see a good project, we would say, okay, come to us. We'll get this project through, we'll get you funding, EU funding, and then you'll pay us our fee. So we like to be flexible in order to also help, let's say, startups which really don't have money, and they need something to start up, obviously, right? According to the name. So we do also business for some, so all kinds of, let's say, legal entities of Slovenia, ministries. We do specific tasks for ministries. Obviously, we don't look so much for EU funding for ministries. That's another story, right? But of course, ministries sometimes have some specific tasks for us. You know, the use of obviously an embassy for, let's say, official presentations there of Slovenian interest, but we do also some specific jobs regarding representing Slovenian interests in Brussels for certain ministries. And sometimes ministries pay us to help certain companies. For example, Vanguard Initiative is one of such interesting initiatives. We got paid from Ministry for Economy, and we help then the companies which want to be active in Vanguard Initiative. It's high technological platform where 37 most innovative European regions participate, and Slovenia participates with both regions. That was, let's say, our success to get through both Slovenian regions, East and West, as you know. So we do also some business for other countries or entities from other countries. Okay, in Slovenia, I forgot to mention some institutes, universities, you know, I mentioned startups, SMEs, but also cities. We are also active for cities. Just recently, we got a quite interesting and big project for association of the largest Slovenian cities, just a week ago or so. So that's also one of the last successes we succeeded to do. Other countries include Austria. We did some business for Austria. I'm not allowed to say what because it was under the business secrecy. Montenegro, let's say, Croatia, UK even, you know, and so on. So sometimes we are approached by some other legal entities knowing what we do. And, you know, we have 20 years history already in Brussels. I have been doing this job for 5 years, my predecessor for 15 years, and we are quite known in Brussels already, really. Okay, to continue, these are our members. Some of members are not on the list because they don't want to be on the list. So we respect their wish. Sometimes they want us to do something for them, but they don't want it so public. So we have called all kinds of entities from, let's say, big companies, small companies, startups, all kinds of you know, economic activities. Or let's say if you talk about the cities, it's of course kind of different activities, but obviously it's again about EU funding and let's say about INTERREG projects or any other projects that cities could get financing by European Union. Okay, what are our core activities? We are informing members about EU projects. We put out a weekly bulletin every Monday where we really put in everything what is new in Brussels in 1 week time. So all kinds of information which can be very useful for all these entities that I was explaining. So for companies, startups, institutes, universities, you know, we put up the calls. We get information about the calls for EU funding much before they're really coming out officially, you know, so we give our partners time to prepare very well for that. And of course, we help them to find partners if they don't have them, you know, or if they have just maybe local partners. You need for European projects many times international partners, so we have to find them those partners via Brussels networks. We do also training. We all do all kinds of workshops, maybe like this one a little bit compared to, let's say, this one. Networking is really important in Brussels. It's many times underestimated. You need contacts to really get through, you know, some ideas, some projects, some financing and so on. We are active in some associations where we can, you know, get most out of them, you know. So ERIN is, for example, a regional association, very, very important one in Brussels. IGLO is research association. Unilion is universities association. They're all very influential and they all have, you know, influence on European Commission in the areas they're representing. And we are active in all this and then some others that are not mentioned here, that I'm not mentioning here. We do a lot of conferences. We organize like 10 events per year in Brussels. We usually use the premises of our embassy in Brussels. It's probably the place like this. We can get there up to 100 people, and usually we fill the place because our conferences are really focused for our members, And these conferences are meant that we promote the members, you know. We have, let's say, company coming to us and saying, look, we have this, we just patented this new product or whatever. How should we put us on the map, you know? So we organize a conference for them, invite European Commission, invite other associations like ours, invite our friends from this area that they are active. And then, of course, there are 100 people there, and, you know, we promote them through that, you know. So after such presentations, many, I would say, maybe in 6 months time lag, they would get partner or invitation for European project to be part of or similar, you know. So this is how we get them on the map and how we get them into consortiums and in European projects. So, and of course, there's some other things, there's some other know-how how we do, but I cannot say everything, right? But the idea is really to promote them, to get them EU funding, to get them partners, and to get them internationally, and to get them success. That's the bottom line. Okay, many organizations. I mentioned these conferences. This one below is European Parliament. We organized big event for Ljubljana University, which wanted to promote some comments that Ljubljana University had on Horizon 2020. So it is a research program financed by European Commission. And of course, everybody is not happy about it. Ljubljana University had some strong comments about it. So we organized in the European Parliament big event for them, where rector and minister of Slovenia represented comments of Slovenia to the European Commission and to the parliamentarians. So that was the idea how we should, you know, get our comments through, you know. So a lot of conferences. It was also the conference about second tier Divača Koper. For example, Prime Minister came and explained why was referendum in Slovenia and why Slovenia is still supporting this event. I mean, this project and so on. So many different things what we do. Okay, let's go forward. We are also ourselves members or partners in certain projects. So we don't just advise the others how to get European money. We do it for ourselves as well. We usually cover certain function within this project. So there are a lot of projects we are part in. Maybe the most interesting one was the Simulact, where European Commission asked us for getting people involved, what they think about the future of Europe. So what kind of future of Europe people want. So every country got one representative. We represented Slovenia, and we organized events like this. Around 50 people, okay, a little bit more than this, and people were really randomly chosen. Approximately gender structure like it is in the country, geographical structure and so on. And they were freely saying what they want to see Europe in future. What is their Europe future? So we collected all these answers and gave to the Commission, European Commission. And of course, that was the basis for this budget I was explaining in the beginning, what the European budget would be. So what should this budget be used for? What people want? The funny thing about this project was, maybe just a short anecdote, that actually European Commission, because we have some meetings with them, they were expecting that people would say, you know, high technological goals, you know, everything on computers and so on. And people basically just wanted jobs, social security, good pension structure, good health, you know, good food, and let's say green environment. That were basically wishes of people, you know. The European Commission was expecting nanotechnology, digital, everything digitalized and so on. Nothing of that. People want simple things, you know. And that's why maybe also we have now Green Deal coming up. I'll talk about it later a little bit, which is a big, huge project of this new European Commission that is still somehow in the pipeline, but some pilots are coming up in autumn already. Some calls for EU funding. Okay, we are also secretariat. We have 5 employees, as I said, and we are also secretariat of 2 other institutions which are active in Brussels. One is CEN, it's a Knowledge Economy Network, kind of global network which deals with some global questions on more theoretical level. The other one is NEFI, which is a quite concrete one, and it's Association of European Development Banks. As you know, each country has one development bank, and these banks formed European Association, and we represent them in Brussels. So that's quite important one. We got it like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and now we have another contract prolongation for 4 years. So this is, we're doing, I think, quite good job for them, and it's very important because this financing is obviously crediting. It's not free money as other EU funding, but again, very important. And includes also dealing with European Investment Bank quite a lot. Okay, let's go forward. Okay, now this is second part, let's say, of my presentation. Let's go completely on some issues that are acute and that are topics now, hot topics in Brussels now. I mentioned already Green Deal. With the new Commission, this really came up. So new President of Commission launched this 2 weeks after she was confirmed in the European Parliament. Idea is that Europe would be a green continent, and a lot of calls will be, a lot of, let's say, free money, EU funding will go in this direction, Green Deal. Green Deal will represent like 30% of money that will go for research and science in Europe. About a third of money will go in direction of all kinds of green activities. And of course, we are already preparing our clients for this since this idea came up, and every since and then some additional material documents are coming up on this Green Deal. It's getting more and more concrete, right? And we are already preparing our clients for this call. Actually, yesterday we had a webinar which was where more than 100 people registered for it. It was within Vanguard Initiative, where we are preparing not only our clients, but also wider internationally entities for this Green Deal. And we are already collecting, let's say, ideas and partners for this Green Deal. So yesterday we had this webinar, which was, I think, very successful one. More than 100 people registered for it. And there were a lot of ideas came up, you know, how to connect, what to do, and so on. Well, maybe to be very concrete, these are the areas which we used for Green Deal, and where maybe you can already prepare yourself a little bit. So let's say first area is increasing climate ambition, cross-sectoral challenges, so intersectoral for climate issues. The second one, clean, affordable, and secure energy. So this will be calls about energy, and again, to make it more clean, more affordable, means cheaper and so on, more secure. Then area 3, industry for a clean and circular economy. This is hot topics in Brussels, circular economy. A lot of things going on there. Great ideas, not all get financing. Maybe sometimes it's great idea, but to get money in Brussels, you have to be, your proposition has to be perfect. Not only good idea, that's not enough. Also documentation has to be prepared really perfectly. You have to have good partners. If you don't have good partners, again, it's a problem. So sometimes they don't succeed, you know, they come to us and say, well, we have such good idea, we patented this, you know, and they didn't give us money, you know. Okay, but then I look at partners, well, you know, not really good partners. How the whole thing was written, no, bad English, you know, missing, you know, important points. So it's really the whole package you got to do. Next one, energy and resource efficient buildings. This is not really so new, but it goes along with this Green Deal, right? Then we have sustainable and smart mobility, also hot topics. Farm to fork, everybody's talking about that. So, you know, healthy food and so on, water. Ecosystems and biodiversity. And area 8, zero pollution, toxic free environment. So these are the hot topics, areas for Green Deal. We have here also area 9, 10, and 11, which are kind of cross-cutting all these 8, this basic 8, and it's strengthening our knowledge in support of the European Green Deal. So it's also knowledge, you know, how to spread this knowledge around, empowering citizens for the transition towards a climate neutral, sustainable Europe. Here is, let's say, place for some maybe associations which gather citizens, you know, so that the citizens would have word within it, some social, let's say, component here. And of course, international cooperation, that's a strong one as well. And it's always idea of the European project to have this international cooperation. That's the basic idea about them. Okay, another issue. So this is Green Deal. More details are available through us. We have a lot of details about that. So all these areas are already covered with the calls for EU funding in autumn. So these calls will be coming up in autumn, I think in September, and then it will be open the call till January. So you have 4 months to, you know, to try to get the money. So 4 months period to put in the documentation and everything. And these are 8 areas. These 8 areas, we have all documentation already for certain, you know, sub-levels, certain calls, some concrete calls. What are these areas including? So very interesting. And as I said, and this autumn calls will be 1 billion euros. 1 billion euros. Okay, next thing. European Commission is introducing with this European budget is introducing also so-called missions. Very briefly, in this presentation you will have more about the missions. I will not go in so much in details. I don't want to bother you with that. But the idea of mission is that you have, well, inspiration was Apollo 11 mission to put a man on the moon. That was the inspiration, you know. And it was Professor Mazzucato of, she's Italian, being raised in US and living in London. And she's quite popular professor now, and she was a consultant of the European Commission, and she came up with the idea of missions. She said Europe should have certain goals that everybody could identify with. Not like going on the moon, but maybe like having, let's say, clean water. The idea was, let's say, let's get rid of plastics in the seas. That was, let's say, first idea for mission. And then European Commission would support such goal with certain calls and EU funding. So everybody who would have idea how to, let's say, get rid of plastics of the sea, out of the sea, would get some money. Of course, that could be a good idea, maybe something patented and so on, would get some funding. A lot of discussion what kind of missions we would end up and so on. And these are now these six missions, actually 5 missions that European Commission is approved. So one is cancer, one is soil, health, and food. So again, you know, I was talking before, you know, so these are quite simple, simple missions, right? Again, people want simple solutions, good solutions. Climate neutral and smart cities, healthy oceans, that's how they started, but then some countries, European countries which don't have sea, they said, well, what about, you know, inland waters? You know, why would benefit just countries that have sea? So that's how it came up, and it ended up like seas, coastal and inland waters. So everybody's included, also the countries which don't have sea, right? Like, let's say, Austria. So it's inland waters, you know, lakes and so on included as well. And then we have adaptation to climate change, including societal transformation. So these are these 5 missions. And now boards and consultants are working on these 5 missions to put up the calls. So they will say cancer, it's very broad, right? Cancer, it's huge, right? So what do you do with cancer? What exactly do you do with cancer? It's not just build up hospital. I mean, how to cure it, right? How to get rid of cancer and so on. So these are all the ideas that will be financed. So this is, let's say, first mission area is cancer. I will not go in details, but there's a special board on cancer, on all these missions, that they are producing now more exact goals, what to do with cancer. So maybe they'll put out the call which would say, I don't know, maybe new drugs for curing cancer, or how to, you know, whatever, I mean, you know. So these calls will be also coming up. These board missions are supposed to finish their work until summer. To suppose that they finish until May, but it will obviously be until summer because of COVID and everything. And then next year we can expect first calls, first tenders for money in, let's say, cancer area. Next one in adaptation to climate change, including societal transformation. I'm not going into detail just to have an idea what it is, but I think you can get presentations so you can see more in details. So the next one, healthy oceans, seas, coast, and inlet waters. Again, the course will be coming up. They have the same structure. Board is working now on this. Climate neutral and smart cities, and soil health and food. Okay, next. This is very important, especially for companies, SME startups. European Innovation Council. This is also idea of this new budget and new structure of financing companies. You know, SMEs especially. SMEs are meant here. And European Commission formed European Innovation Council, which is offering some certain instruments to achieve these goals, to promote entrepreneurship, innovations, SMEs. European Commission asked us to present European Innovation Council for the first time in Europe, in Slovenia, in Ljubljana. So our SBRA, we organized for them a big event where they actually introduced European Innovation Council for the first time in Europe. So we are very flattered by this. And it was a big event, like 300 people. And they launched actually European Innovation Council through our event that we organized in Ljubljana. It was in February last year. So although we don't have new budget yet, European budget, however, some pilots are already going on, like demo cases. But it's true money. They get money. It's not just you know, playing demo, but it's real money. So they get money. So quite some pilots got financing already. But of course, with the new budget, this will be the permanent issue. Because now we have still SME instrument, fast track to innovation. These are two instruments with the old system. And when this, and we have some instruments coming from European Innovation Council already, like pilots. But with the new budget, with 2021, there will be only European Innovation Council instruments. So now we have a kind of transformation period. So what are the most two important instruments which are interesting for companies especially, but also let's say for some institutes maybe cooperating with companies. These have to be innovative things. And there are two instruments, Pathfinder and Accelerator. Especially Accelerator, I would like to put some emphasis on. Accelerator offers you 2.5 million euros grant, so grant money, but you can get up to 15 million also equity financing, which is organized by the European Commission. Why they added this? Because in past instruments, you could just get 2.5 million grant. That was it. But they found out that just giving, let's say, grants 2.5 million, sometimes it's not enough for SMEs. Okay, it's enough they go out with the product, it's enough that they maybe do something, but sometimes it's not enough. That's why they said they added this possibility of equity. So that European Commission really wants to boost this entrepreneurship and this startups and SMEs, really upgrade them, you know, by giving them some more money. So this Pathfinder, we launched already three projects for this Pathfinder, because I said it's like pilot now. So we already did 3 projects in this area, and we are now waiting for results. So 3 Slovenian companies already went through us to get money through Pathfinder. So this 2.5 million grant plus possibility of equity if they needed one. And we already, you know, finished three projects, waiting for results. They're good projects, but you know, you never know. Competition is really strong. I'm afraid this accelerator is not so much in favor of smaller countries, smaller SMEs, because well, it's a long story. But in the past, you could, if you as SME would not be able to cover all functions, then you could get partners in. But now with Accelerator, you have to do it by yourself. So this is sometimes, I would say, for some smaller companies, is not so favorable. Some smaller companies, it's difficult to cover all functions of the company, especially, let's say, the selling function, commercialized function, you know. Because when you launch your product and you want to bid for this money, you have to show not only that it's a good product, that it's, let's say, innovative product, that you can really produce it and so on, of course, also with help of this money, but it's also important that you are able to prove how you will sell this product in Europe. Because Commission is looking at this like, I mean, okay, this is great product, but they're not able to sell it. So what's the point then? We finance something that will not be sold in Europe, although it's good product. So the idea is that you're also able to market it and sell it. And that is sometimes a problem for small companies, right? You need a partner for that. You need someone who has big network in Europe to sell it, right? So, okay, but we'll figure out something how to, I mean, you can have subcontract and so on, of course, this is all possible, right? But you're bidding alone, you know, you're bidding alone. In the past, you could bid together with partners in consortia. Now you're bidding alone. And you have to prove you cover everything. So now I see the solutions in subcontracting, or let's say many partners create new company and this company is then bidding, you see. So there are some ways around, right? But just explaining the idea. Okay, so this accelerator pilot, I will just explain about it. So there's some data here and so on, you can get it later on. And I'm coming slowly to the end of presentation. I didn't want to be too long, right? Well, I'm quite long already. But it's also EIC, so European Innovation Council Horizon prizes. So it's not only this Accelerator and Pathfinder for SMEs, but it's also that if Commission wants something to really, let's say, certain tasks, certain innovation to be covered, certain area to be covered, they go out with prizes. So these prizes give them, let's say, some free space what to do. You know, for example, if problem is the COVID, they would put out some prizes, you know, some calls for prizes in COVID area. So that's the idea. And for example, currently these open horizon prizes are there. So fuel from the sun, artificial photosynthesis, prize value 5 million. So you can bid for that if you have any good idea about this. It has to be innovative, obviously not something that is known already, and efficient and so on, and you can get up to 5 million. Innovative batteries for vehicles, price value 10 million. This is hot stuff as well. Early warning for epidemics. Obviously this is COVID influenced, 5 million. Low cost space launch, price value 10 million. So these are calls which are now on. You can go for them, okay? Okay, the last but not the least, before I finish, INTERREG. INTERREG is very popular, I would say, especially among regions, not maybe so much federal states, I mean, as federal level, but more regional level. So it means like the name implies, it is cooperation among partners from different regions. There are many possibilities. I mean, within INTERREG, very popular, a lot of companies, associations, entities are part of it from all countries. We expect INTERREG to be there in future as well. It's 5, you know, INTERREG has tradition of 5 periods already to be rolling. As you see, it started in 1990, and now we are 2020. And in last period, there was 10 billion euros for INTERREG projects awarded, and all 28 countries participated. Also, we are part of some INTERREG projects, SBRA, and we have many to be part of them. INTERREG projects are finished now. We have to wait for another budget, for new budget to be applied and approved. A lot of lobbying is going on in Brussels for regional cooperation, because original budget had idea to lower the amount for interregional cooperation for 10%, which is quite a lot. Now let's see what comes up and what comes out. But the idea, of course, is that interregional cooperation will stay, and the last info that I have is that approximately the same money will stay for interregional cooperation. What we can do in interregional cooperation right now, INTERREG, is that if you had project, you can have some follow-ups before new calls are coming up, Felix. Remember we discussed that the other day when I was here, and we found some possibility there, but the time is ticking, so let's see what we can do. So this is about INTERREG. Again, these are areas, you know, all kinds of areas really. Then you have, when we have also this regional like Danube area, Mediterranean area, Alps, you know, Austria would be, I guess, in Danube and Alps region. Slovenia is in 4. Mediterranean, Adriatic, Ionic, Danube and Alps. Slovenia is such a small country, is in 4 regional INTERREG compositions, so to say. Unfortunately, we didn't take advantage of Danube. Danube was a little bit not taken advantage of, really. Alps quite okay. Mediterranean as well. Okay, this is it. I hope I wasn't too long. But I sense that there was still a tension, so I said a few more things. But when I see people are not listening so much, then of course I finish. But I sense there was still some tension.
So, are there any questions? Maybe it's time now for the open discussion. Also, everyone will be joining us online. You can put a question in the chat box or in the Q&A. Do we have any, Andrei? Okay. Is there a question from the public, or maybe a discussion or a thought about it? Just some
I have a question. My question is following, you spoke about the INTERREG 20, which is coming up. What do you think when will be the announcement for the tendering process for this one? Can we await it in this year, or should it come in the next year? What is your idea? And what are the results of the pandemic? Did they also reduce some money in the European community, and this also in costs of the INTERREG projects?
Yeah, good question. Good question, difficult one. INTERREG is coming up next year, after the European budget will be approved. So we can expect first calls maybe at the end of 21. How much money? This is still lobbying going on. As I said before, regions are lobbying a lot for money. As you know, we have also in Brussels, there is a special institution which is called Committee of Regions, which is quite strong. Doesn't have any particular power, but it's huge lobbying and influential body, you know, where mostly mayors are sitting there, you know, and lobbying for regions. So, I mean, this will stay, but how much money is very difficult to say. The last info, I mean, original proposition was 10% less money. But now I hear that it will be approximately the same money as it was, because this, you know, lobbying took place, and everybody said, I mean, for regions, less money, that's impossible. Europe is, you know, land of regions and so on, etc., etc. So now this will stay, obviously. You know. So first call 21, I think, and probably it will be similar like it was. You know, similar calls. Of course, COVID, you know, COVID caused that a lot of calls to be a little bit different. So maybe there was an idea to have a call on, I don't know, some other subject, but then they said, okay, COVID is coming up, let's dedicate some more money to this issue. So this is going on, of course. And also, I mean, the European Commission, according to this budget, is planning to also take some debt. So this is the novelty as well. So far, European Commission never took any debt, any credits for programs financed by European Commission. Now this is the idea, because they thought, okay, this crisis, this COVID, we should not be shifty here, and let's give some money out, but we have to then take some credits. So a lot of things going on, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Maybe some other questions or any thoughts?
Is it right that the possibility to get money out of this European Union, that it is very, very helpful only to enter in all these processes with really good people and could help us, not only the company by themselves.
Yeah, sure. Of course, no doubt. Yeah, that's why we are doing what we are doing. You know, I mean, I claim it's. Of course, you have examples. You know that. Let's say, I mean, it's a very good project. They put up everything together alone, and they get money. You know, but this is really, really very rare. Really, you need for sure help. I mean, you know, I have been now in Brussels for 5 years, and I still don't know all the instruments which are there in as I said, this jungle. You know, the other day I learned actually, no, yesterday during that Green Deal webinar that we had, that I was chairing. We had presentation that there is European Regional Climate Fund. I didn't know for it. I heard for it yesterday for the first time, and I've been 5 years in Brussels. You know, European Regional Climate Fund, which will help regions. In idea of Green Deal is that the whole Europe will be greener in all respects, right? Not to go in details, right? You have regions which are now very below that average of Europe. They will be able to use this regional climate fund in order to get the average of Europe. And then additionally, they will be able to, of course, use money from Green Deal calls. You see? For example, I didn't know for that, really. I mean, I heard that there will be money for those which are above, I mean, below average, but I didn't know it's called European Climate Regional Fund or something like that. So it's really a lot of, I mean, you need someone in Brussels to get around, really. And of course, as I said, I mean, if you want to get financing, you also have to be known in Brussels. So that's why we organize these conferences where we actually, I mean, it's not just promotion, it's not marketing conference. This doesn't work. So if somebody says, okay, I'll organize a marketing conference, and let's say we introduce this product that you are, let's say, doing, right? Nobody would come. We had such cases. And companies wanted us to do that, and we did it because they wanted us, they paid us, and we did it. We did it professionally. But it's difficult to get people on marketing stuff. But if you organize conference on some research, scientific, subject, and then you find a team or niche for this company to present this within the topic of this conference, that's the right thing to do. So you see, we organize conference, I don't know, on health, let's say. Let's say we're planning to organize conference on prevention in health in autumn. We're already looking for some partners for this conference and so on, because it's also good to organize with some partners. Then you get, broader basis, for everything. So anyway, the idea was prevention in health, And of course, we already know which Slovenian companies we will, or our clients, not only Slovenian ones, as I said before, we will put in this conference to have certain thematics there and to present some issues. And they will say, oh, these guys are, they are very smart what they're doing, And that's how you promote them. Not by promoting like marketing, action. That doesn't work at all. It has to be high level, good conference, and hire people you get there from European Commission always. You also always get people from European Commission, and also evaluators, those who evaluate projects. They're also sitting in the audience, And then maybe they will evaluate one day such project, and they said, I heard that on that conference that SBRA organized. Okay,
Hello, I would like to know, how does your association charge your services for help with the projects?
Okay, good question. We like to be very flexible about it. So we are a non-profit association. So basically you have to charge our services by membership fee. So it's not, I would say, classical invoice, we done this and this, but we try to figure out, let's say, or when we talk about how we cooperate, we try to figure out how much work will be involved, what exactly work will be there, and so on, and then we try to figure out the right membership fee for you. But generally, the lowest fee, I mean, we charge per year, because there are a lot of, and we don't do short-term stuff, because, I mean, we have companies coming to us saying, oh, we saw a call in newspaper, you know, because newspapers report, you know, European Commission came out with these calls, these standards, you know, they see it, you know, with some time lag, and they see it, and it's, I don't know, it's 1 month to go, and they come to us and say, okay, we see this call, we are doing this, you know, let's go for it, you know. No chances, no chances they get money. If you don't prepare for 2 years or more for that, you know, no, I mean, you have to be very systematic about it, really. So, so basically, we charge for 1 year work for you, and we try to get, you know, a kind of agreement, what kind of fee would that be. Basically, our lowest fee is 10,000 euros per year, but we are very flexible, you know. As I said before, startups comes to us, they have no money, nothing, you know, and we see a really good product and say, okay, you pay us nothing, but we get, if we are successful, you pay us from there. Or, I don't know, we say, you pay us 5,000 euros, you have good, we evaluate your work, we see you have good chances to get money, and then again. So we try to get something fixed, and then, yeah. But for bigger companies, we tend to get fixed money, you know, because bigger companies are, they can pay, I would say. This is one thing, and the other thing is, bigger companies or institutions, you know, with, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 employees or so. When we have membership, you know, and everybody's calling us from that company, you know, they get, let's say, circular around, okay, this company is now a member of SBRA. If you need anything from them, you can contact them, you know, and you sign contract. And everybody's calling us from that company. So sometimes it's quite confusing, you know, we try to get someone then who is, let's say, in charge of that, so we just contact through him, you know, but it's a lot of work with bigger company, you know, so it's all the time something. They call you every day or, you know, once per week, and we want that, we want that, we want that meeting to be organized, we want this call, and so on. So that's why we go there for the fixed rate, you know, which is the lowest one, 10,000 euros, but as I said, we can be flexible for entrepreneurs, SMEs, and so on.
I'd like to ask you something which is somehow very critical at the moment in the COVID period. What about tourism, which is a very important branch in the European market, about 10 to 15% of the...
You said tooling?
Tourism.
Tourism, okay, yeah.
Is at the moment in a very difficult moment. Is there any possibility to start with tourism? We have the idea in a startup, but we don't find any money anywhere.
Yeah.
It's told us we have a lot of money, we don't need it. So,
no, I agree, good point. I mean, just as tourism per se, I don't know any calls, any tenders. Just saying tourism, I don't know, new hotel or something. No way. However, there can be projects which are innovative. If you have an innovative idea which nobody uses in Europe, I mean, which is something innovative, how, let's say, get certain area touristic, how you would, let's say, attract tourism, how would you, you know, through tourism, let's say, develop certain region or certain area, you know. People are unemployed, so you think of something in area of tourism, how to employ these people and how to get tourists, you know, that sort of thing. If you come up to certain ideas, innovative ideas, yes, you can get money. Through Accelerator, for example. Accelerator has no area. Accelerator is whatever new you can come up with, you can get money. It has to be innovative. And it can be small project, it can be big project. So you get 2.5 million plus up to 15 million, equity, as I said. And it's important to say, because when I was saying to someone in Slovenia this, let's say, or to anyone in Slovenia, when I say 15 million equity, then I get someone in control of my company. No, it's not board, it's not director in board. So this money, it's you know, not getting control in the company. So you can stay in, let's say, like family company.
Hello, my name is Draško. I'm regional coordinator for INTERREG Austria and Slovenia here in Klagenfurt. Thank you for the very interesting presentation. My question would be, I haven't really got the kind of service you are offering for the company. So is your service Are you actually helping writing the application? Are you actually doing project management, or is it logging and
Good question. Yeah, I got the message. Good question. Yes, we do that too. In most cases, we go, well, most of our clients, they write the proposal themselves. However, we have clause in the contract that we can go through the documentation. And even, you know, and again, experience is that even, let's say, top experts are writing this documentation. When we get it, it's so many things to be corrected because we read it from let's say, with Brussels eyes. So that's what we do. So in most cases, we do that. Sometimes, let's say, they come to us and they say, well, we cannot write it. It's our first time and so on, and we organize for them. We don't write it ourselves in Brussels. It will be too expensive, but we have very reliable partners who do. And then again, we check up the whole thing and you know, make corrections. It is really amazing, you know, when sometimes people which are 20, 30 years in business and they write proposal, they think they are perfect, you see, because they're so long in the business. But then we see that so many things are missing, really incredible. Usually the impact is the worst thing in these proposals, you know, impact to explain what will your product Europe benefit, you know, what will Europe benefit from your product? This is the most difficult part. Usually they say, okay, we have good product, we sell it in Slovenia, maybe some neighboring countries. I think we have market for that, you know, not good enough, you know. You have to have the view on Europe. So that's where we come in and help them in, you know. And then besides, we have so many connections in European Commissions that we, if we don't know something by ourselves, because one of my co-workers used to work for European Commission for 7 years, so we have kind of inside information, so to say. We call our colleagues in Commission, ask, look, we have this idea, what do you think, you know, so we get also some information. So when somebody asked before, you know, can you do it alone? It's really difficult, you know, because we give this, we and similar associations like us give this additional value added, very important one.
Okay, and if there are no other questions, then I would say goodbye to all the audience online because there are no questions. And we have some time for networking and so on. So thank you very much. It was very good.
To posneto tudi? Predam na, ali lahko na našem internetu?